What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be going ahead and talking about my first impressions for Pokemon Legends Arceus, or Arceus, however you want to say it. Now, this isn't a review itself. I have not finished the game. This is just my first impression after the first 10 to 15 hours in the game. Now, before you click away for spoiler reasons, I will let you know that I will only be showing you the first 2 hours of gameplay just to keep this whole thing spoiler free, and I also will not be touching on the main story or anything in terms of spoiler territory. With all that being said, if you like the video, please go ahead and leave it a like. It greatly helps out the video and also the channel. But let's get into my first impressions. This game thankfully is a great departure from traditional Pokemon games, although this departure also comes with its own newly created issues. Let's start with the gameplay. This is the first entry into the series that doesn't have a variant counterpart. It means that all content is contained into one game and you will not be needing to trade specific Pokemon with another person who got another version. Gone too are the gyms and gym leaders. The intention of this game is not to become the best Pokemon trainer or stop a team of baddies. This game shifts the focus to researching Pokemon, as this is set in a time where Pokemon and humans don't really coexist or work together. In fact, a lot of humans are actually afraid of Pokemon. It's up to you to research the Pokemon, note down behaviors and movements to eventually create the world's first Pokedex. You can do this by battling them, observing them in the wild, catching them without them seeing you, and other ways which I won't get into for spoiler reasons. Now, kind of in place of gym badges, there are these things called stars which are given to you as you progress through the game. Now, the stars that you have will inform you as to how high you've worked up through the Galaxy Expedition team, and the more stars you collect, the more rewards you are given by reaching that next rank. This shift in story and narrative alone was so welcome to me, and it allows for opportunities to also alter the gameplay and still have it feel organic and like a Pokemon game at heart. You'll also be going out into open areas with a set of research tasks to complete. This is where I think players will become somewhat divided. A lot of these tasks require you to either catch or repeat a specific action 5, 10, 20 plus times on every single Pokemon in this game. For players who like a bit more of a grindy, somewhat MMO style of progression or missions, this will be great for you. For other players who get annoyed at being told to do something 9 more times after doing it once already, this game is going to feel incredibly tedious, laborious, and unfulfilling. I personally found it to be really interesting how this change in gameplay got me more invested in the Pokemon I caught. Instead of ignoring the Pokemon like I do in most other Pokemon games, or just catching one and sending it to the PC box, I actually had to learn the personalities of some of these Pokemon to tick off these research tasks. Before I knew it, hours had passed and I had just been researching a few Pokemon without even touching the main story. It's a very smart gameplay loop that will trap people into caring more about specific and individual Pokemon, more so than any other game before it. Now, there are also a lot of side things to do in this game, some non-essential, others are essential to your progression, like the resource gathering and crafting systems for your Pokeballs and supplies such as food and potions. Different Pokeballs have different weights, stats and uses, and you'll be catching a lot of Pokemon in this game, more than any other Pokemon game before, so you'll definitely want to keep an eye out on how each Pokeball can help your current situation. As this game is more open, you would have seen in the trailers that this game really leans into the Pokemon's natures and personalities. Some come up to you, some don't care what you're doing, some are skittish and will run away, and others will straight up come after you and send you to the Shadow Realm. You'll also want to look out for alpha Pokemon. You'll see these a mile away because they have huge red eyes and they are much larger than other Pokemon around. They are incredibly aggressive, and if spotted, they will hunt you down and make you beg for your mummy. Now, if you do die in this game, you'll also lose a bunch of the items that you were carrying with you at the time of your death. To some players, this can be quite unforgiving, however, it's not all lost. There is a lost satchel system in this game where players in their own game can pick up your lost satchel bag and return it for merit points. And vice versa, you can also look for other people's lost satchel bags in your map to get some more merit points. Merit points can then be exchanged for items at the trading post in the Jubilife village. Battling has also changed with the implementation of 2 styles, being Agile style, which makes you quicker so you can potentially get 2 hits in before your opponent. However, the trade-off is that you won't do as much damage, and vice versa with the Strong style means you hit harder but you're slower, so your opponent could potentially get 2 hits in before it's your next turn. Battles have also changed to become far more efficient. Gone are the opening animations of the traditional Pokemon battles. Now you just throw out your Pokemon and the battle happens right then and there. It did take a little to get used to, and at first it felt like battles lost their emphasis without the beginning animation, but it's something I became used to very quickly. Also, if you can avoid it, do not start a Pokemon battle in tall grass. You will not be able to see anything. Now what if you don't even want to battle? You're still able to catch Pokemon by distracting them with fruits or sneaking up to them and throwing a Pokeball without them seeing you. Sometimes it doesn't always work, but they will actually be caught without you engaging in a single battle. Now I love this inclusion of choice here because some players might not want to battle. Some players like or favor the stealth-like approach. This really opens up the game for players to engage with Pokemon in exactly how they want to, which was quite liberating and makes you feel more involved in the game. This also means that catching rarer Pokemon is more meaningful. Instead of just walking around the grass hoping for a rare Pokemon to pop up, all your Pokemon are observed in the wild. So you'll need to scout your environments, look on from vantage points, which when you finally catch that rare Pokemon makes the whole process feel more rewarding than ever before. Conversely, it's also so much more heartbreaking when you see a rarer Pokemon, they see you and run away. Now, as I said earlier, there are no gym leaders or gym battles or anything like that. In its place, there are these things called noble Pokemon. I won't get too much into them, but they are these huge, brightly colored Pokemon. They're basically just giant boss fights that you need to dodge their attacks, throw bombs at it, and reduce their frenzy. Some of these noble Pokemon battles were fun, others later in the game were mechanically very rough, which led to several unwarranted deaths. Now the world in itself in this game isn't truly open world. Instead, there are open zones or areas or regions, but you essentially need to load into these via the map. It's not like one giant landmass to explore, it's a collection of smaller open regions, each region having their own specific Pokemon, but I absolutely loved this change. Every time you enter a new region, you have to make sure that you are well equipped for your adventure. It made you more conscious of your items, forced you to craft, and made you more actively plan for what's ahead. It made me really immersed in the game as I tried to prepare for any and all scenarios I might come across. One thing that was really annoying is this game's tutorial. It is extremely long, far too long in my opinion. An hour to an hour and a half into the game, I was still being told how to aim a Pokemon, how to catch it, despite me already having been shown this previously and also catching Pokemon myself. By 30 minutes into this tutorial, I hadn't really done anything other than click A to skip the dialogue options because yes, yet again, there is no voice acting. By the 2-hour mark into this tutorial, I'm being told about Pokemon typings, move types, and again, how to throw a Pokeball stealthily. All these things I've learned on my own or have been previously told. This tutorial could have been cut down to about 30 minutes, and yet again, there is no option to turn the tutorial off. It is a nice introduction into the new mechanics, I understand that, but it doesn't need to be 2+ hours long. Now what about trading or multiplayer? Yes, there is trading with other players. Multiplayer... No! 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 There is no battle multiplayer and there is no option to invite people into your world to even achieve research tasks together. This game feels the most like an isolated and single player Pokemon game, more so than what it's been for a very, very long time. You truly are on your own, which may be a detriment to some players. The closest thing to multiplayer is the merit system where you find someone else's lost satchel bag as mentioned previously. Now on to the graphics and performance. Now I'm sure you're seeing this in a lot of reviews, but one of the biggest points of contention in this game are its graphics. Yes, this game is not a pretty game at all. This thankfully is made up entirely by the gameplay. A few major issues I did have with the graphics in this game were the terrible draw distances and pop-ins. I'd be walking and an entire rock, tree, or even a professor would just pop in randomly. The textures and shadows look incredibly janky at times, and again, Pokemon has never really been the best looking game in any of its generations, but for today's standard and what other games have come out on the Switch, it just gives the impression that this game is incredibly unfinished. There were also times where the frame rate would drop below 30 and you could see the game visibly stutter for a few seconds. It's meant to be locked in at a measly 30 frames, but in some points it couldn't even hold that. Again, if you can get past the graphics, the gameplay completely saves this game. Now, just as we wrap up, there's a whole bunch of quality of life changes. This game is a godsend when it comes to quality of life changes. You can do most things from a menu and the UI is very well laid out in my opinion. You can change a whole bunch of things that you'd normally need to speak to someone for. For example, you can change the moves of your Pokemon on the fly, and you can also evolve through the menu, which I found to be a great addition. I do wish that they added a minimap in because you are constantly looking at your map through the menus. I think it would be great to add a minimap into the corner of your screen just so that you don't have to constantly keep opening your maps. Now, exploration is a major part of this game, and they have implemented a variety of traversal options that will allow you to get around quicker as you progress. They do a really good job at drip feeding these out to you throughout your game, and they really help you traverse a variety of different landscapes, more so than what has been shown off in the trailers. You'll also unlock other quality of life items such as the crafting kit and recipes where you can craft on the go rather than having to go back up to camp to craft everything. So my final thoughts are that this game is good. It's really good. But I do feel that there is untapped potential here. The game is a must buy for any Pokemon fan, but I do feel like this was the last test kind of style for Pokemon games, and that if this game is well received, this will be the new formula moving forward. It's one of the biggest departures and most adventurous in terms of changes we've seen for a long time in the mainline Pokemon series. That effort to change and experiment is very much welcome here, and it was an absolute joy to treat this game as a slow burn, to simply walk around and really absorb the environment and just observe Pokemon going about their day in their natural habitat. You really feel like you're a part of their world. There are portions of this game that are incredibly rough around the edges, but its unique gameplay and willingness to try new things completely saves it, making this one of my favourite Pokemon games in a long time. It changes enough to feel fresh, revitalized, and I can't wait to see where this takes the Pokemon franchise moving forward. But that's it for my first impression of this game, guys. Let me know if you've picked it up, if you like it, if you don't like it, if you're not even interested in this game, and also let me know what starter you picked as well. As always, if you like the video, please go ahead, leave it a like, and consider subscribing to the channel. But take care out there, guys, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next video.